Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the 505 podcast. Welcome back, guys. Your host, Braden Figueroa, Kostas Garcia, and Chase Alexander. Week three. Week three, we did it. How you feeling? We made it.
You know, it's been a busy last 2 weeks. We've all been stressed, but we're here.
I haven't slept at all.
Yeah, we haven't. There's this, the cumulative hours of all three of us is like 6 maybe.
Yeah,
last week or so.
It's not good. You need to prioritize your sleep for sure. I'm definitely feeling the side effects of not sleeping, and it makes me really mad.
Right, so this is gonna be a really good podcast.
100%. Yeah, we're gonna bring the energy.
We're gonna really fire it up.
That's gonna be our best one.
Fire it up for
we
the
all have
pod.
a lot of energy, right?
Hey,
for the pod specifically.
Speaking of no sleep, Chase, we did something pretty late the other night. And I kind of think that we should tell that story to start off the podcast.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's a good one.
We like to talk about creating on this podcast. This is about creating.
I'm so curious to
This
see
is
where
about
he
creating
takes
grilled
this.
cheeses, okay? That maybe create problems for everyone. Friday night, we had a big Halloween celebration, right? And we all come back, and we're all pretty excited. And Braden's beautiful, lovely girlfriend Chloe had a friend over, and she's one of the homies. And I make grilled cheese for everyone. I'm a host, you know. I like to make stuff for people. Okay?
And who doesn't love a grilled cheese?
And who doesn't love a grilled cheese? Here's the thing.
Especially drunk people.
Especially drunk people.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking grilled cheese late night. Everyone's gonna love that. So just line up the grilled cheeses, right? I'm gluten free. I just whip out my bread. I whip out my cheese. I put turkey on mine because I'm selfish, but whatever. No one else got turkey. But made the grilled cheeses, and we're all eating it. And then Chloe's friend's like, "Hey, wasn't that grilled cheese?" I'm like, "It's pretty good, right? Like, don't worry about it." And then she's like, "No, my throat is starting to swell a little bit, and like I just need to know if." I was like, "Oh, maybe there's like a nut in the." I'm like, "What are you allergic to?" And she's like, "Oh, like cashews specifically."
Deathly allergic.
And like,
to cashews.
and not like allergic where it's like, I feel sneezy. It's like, oh, I'll die. And I was like, oh, like let me check the fridge. Open the fridge. Mind you, again, we had been drinking. So like all this was like, I don't know, in the fridge. And the cheese I used, which is the first cheese I grabbed, vegan cheese. You know what that's made out of? Cashews.
Straight
just
cashews.
cashews. So I like grab her fucking.
Mind you, I'm in the other room editing photos.
Kostas is, yeah.
I'm sober. I didn't go out with them. And I just hear this whole thing transpire from the other room.
And so we're actually in Kostas' doorway at this point, and she's like, "You need to stab me with this thing." And I just grab her thigh. I'm like, "Yes, ah!" And I get it. And then Kostas drives us about 75 miles per hour at 25.
You stab her not once.
I did stab her twice. Yeah. Well, she was like, "You need to hold it in." So my first instinct was like, "Fuck it."
Well, just bam, one of those.
Another one. And then we drive her to the hospital. It's like, I don't even know what time it is.
It was probably like, it had to have been like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, dude. We get to the hospital. And it, dude, I'll be honest, like, it's funny now because she's totally fine. I was freaked out. I was like, I killed a person with my beautiful grilled cheese. And I felt so bad. And by the time we got there, like her throat was like proper closed. She was like, "I need help now." Like it was so scary. And okay, also hospital people change it, dude. They're like, "What's like your height and weight?" I'm like, "You need to know this right now."
Yeah.
Like she's literally dying. I'm screaming in the hospital. Fine. Also, like I couldn't hang out with her because of like
The COVID
stuff.
situation. Yeah. Did you tell me you're triple vaxxed?
Oh, I'm so vaxxed, dude.
And they didn't.
You got all the vaccines, right?
I have it in my car, in my phone. So I kept showing the guy. He's like, "Yeah, but you got to leave." And I kept like darting back when he turned. I'm like, "Katie, are you fucking okay?"
And she was like, "I'm okay."
Dude, it felt so bad. But then
It's not. It's not. By the way, it's not funny. But Katie is our good friend,
right? She's okay.
And she's okay.
And
that's what matters.
And she was like
exactly.
went out last night. She's like she's doing fine.
Yeah,
she's back on the horse.
But
she's back.
Allergies
She's
are
back.
serious. And
100%. You got to make sure before you make a grilled cheese for any friend or anybody.
And remember that the assumption is that a grilled cheese is made with dairy cheese, not cashew cheese.
So that's what the assumption
issue.
is forever.
And don't make assumptions.
You know what the mother of all fuck ups is?
Assumptions.
There it is. There it is.
I would just like to say, I think the moral of the story is that Chase's cooking is to die for, you know?
Come on.
Come on. Let's move around. Kostas, why were you editing photos at 6 in the morning?
Yeah, that's a good one.
sober?
That's a great.
What were you doing? Why it happened?
I was, this past Friday, I was shooting a festival called Escape in San Bernardino for 2 guys that go by Loud Luxury, a DJ duo. And that is my new gig that I'm really excited about. It kind of came about really randomly, and I was over the moon about it when I got hit up. So Andrew, one's named Andrew and one's named Joe.
Okay.
If you don't know who Loud Luxury is, They're a DJ duo. They have a hit song that is called Body.
Body
Exactly.
right there.
So
that's exactly what
Dude,
it sounds.
copyright, dude.
Right? I know. I gotta take that out.
also, dude, didn't know you could sing that well, dude.
Wow.
You hit that note.
Third member, Loud Luxury right there.
Let's go. Your falsetto is just beautiful. So yeah, Andrew, I check my DMs and he's just like, yo, what's going on, man? And I know who he is because I love their music and I'm like a fan of their stuff. And so I messaged him back. I was like, yo, what's going on? And he's like, I've been following you on TikTok for a while. Really like your stuff. We're looking for a new tour videographer and photographer. Is that something you'd be interested in? And I said, I'm your guy. Whatever you need, I'm your guy. It's something that I've always wanted to get into. I can't believe it kind of just like fell into my lap the way it did. And that's my new gig. So filming with them on the weekends. Right now I'm doing about 1 show a weekend with them. Probably will get bumped up to about 2 or 3 depending on the shows. And yeah, it's a ton of fun.
So what was your first like show with them? Like, did they ease you into it or you thrown into the fire?
Yeah, no, I got thrown into the fire. Sure. It was EDC Las Vegas.
Nice.
Which is pretty crazy.
First time shooting a concert.
Yeah, that's the craziest part, right? Is like, I've never shot a concert. The only music thing I've ever shot was Chase was there. It was
right.
It was like a
Night Tales, dude.
Yeah,
That
Night Tales
rocked.
Yeah, a little bit smaller than EDC.
Right, a little bit, but more exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and drinks were probably more expensive.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways,
so got thrown into the fire. EDC Las Vegas. They were performing main stage, and I was really, really nervous, but really excited. It felt like a very full circle moment for me, just because we talked about this before, but pursued the DJ stuff for a couple of years, always wanted to know what it was like to be on stage in front of thousands of people, and, you know, stopping that journey to pursue the photography and video stuff full time, and then having that experience of filming a DJ
right.
at the highest level, main stage EDC, which is literally the biggest EDM music festival like in Northern America, and getting to have that feeling. It really felt like a full circle moment, and I just felt like an extreme amount of gratitude getting that opportunity. And they said I crushed it. They had like a few notes of things, minor things. So they had me doing photography, video, and iPhone video for TikTok. So like one of the pieces of advice was, when you're filming iPhone videos, just don't go 0.5, just stay 1 and just like stay directly behind us. Like little notes like that. And then
0.5 adds a grain.
Exactly.
Is that what they said? 100%.
Yeah.
Is that also, do they have you shooting that on iPhone because TikToks are just so much more natural when they're not like super produced high quality? Is that what
they just want iPhone videos for both like Instagram stories and TikToks.
It's the vibe, dude.
It's just more real.
No,
like,
it is. It's
as soon
weird.
as you see something like really high produced on TikTok, you kind of just scroll because you think it's like an ad or something.
It's almost interesting because I wonder, like, as we keep making more TikToks for like brands and whatnot, I wonder if there'll be a time where we're just like, we're just gonna gimbal the phone, just the iPhone 13 cinema mode.
Because you just want to like authentic looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting because I feel like that's where it's going towards, like a more raw and a more authentic feel, like all of the platforms and whatnot.
Right. It kind of stresses me out considering we
just bought a $20,000 camera. That's great. Yeah, it's incredible.
It's so true though. I remember watching a Peter McKinnon video, and he literally made the same exact video. He filmed one on a cinema camera or like a nice DSLR and one on just an iPhone.
Oh, I did see this on TikTok.
And the one that he shot on an iPhone performed better.
Really?
But I do think though that there's something to be said. Like, I'm pretty sure TikTok does, like, it's like an algorithm thing to like push out the phone content more.
Totally.
It's supposed to be for anyone to be a creator.
Exactly.
You know,
they don't want the barriers like YouTube now has.
Exactly. You know? YouTube shit's like a movie. Right. You see some of the stuff, it's like, dude, you spent like weeks to make. You got like 10 people to make this damn YouTube video. Least. It's pretty insane.
But anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So you're shooting.
So fly out to Vegas. I'll give the little play-by-play.
Give us a like 20 seconds.
What is it like going to like shoot a huge show?
So one, I had never met them before, right? So the first time I met them was about 2 hours before we left for the festival. So I get to meet them. They're super nice guys. Everyone on their team is really cool. They were very welcoming, which was a very nice feeling. I feel like it could have felt a little bit cold or awkward. Not at all. They're really nice guys. So we're in the hotel room. They're going over their set. They're like still putting it together, kind of the finishing touches.
That's crazy.
And they were, they got told how much like pyro they had. So they were deciding when they wanted the cues of the pyro to go off, which I thought was really interesting.
That's fun.
And it was very calculated. I mean, to the point where they knew what they were going to say when they got on the mic and when they were going to say it and which one of them was going to say it, because it was live streamed. They were like, this is going to live forever. We can't mess up. We can't say the same thing twice. And so that was really interesting to see, like the behind the scenes, because I've always wondered that.
In my head, they just like, I had no idea that all of that went into it. I'm thinking that they're just like crushing bottles in the back,
right?
Hella people back there, and they're like, "Yo, it's time, let's go!"
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm thinking they do. But that's really, really. I think it's refreshing to hear that. I mean, you'd also expect that at the highest level, like they are the highest level of DJs.
Preparation is everything.
Yeah, exactly. They probably prep for this for months and months.
And I was thinking how anytime you get to be around someone who's very successful at what they do and doing it at the highest level, it's so interesting to see their process and how they go about it. Similar to how, like, Chase, you've been on $1 million commercial sets. Braden, you're hanging out with LeBron James and these Lakers.
Like,
exactly.
Of all time.
The GOAT.
At something. To be the GOAT at something is crazy.
Unreal. Yeah, it's nuts.
So it's just really cool to see different people's processes and how they work.
Right.
So anyways, so we left at around 6. Their set time was at 10. We took a helicopter from the strip to EDC. So cool. Just the only way to go to EDC, you know?
You're never gonna be able to do like the whole. You'd be like, oh, you're going to EDC? Like you're like, oh, we're gonna fly in, or what's the deal?
I definitely feel like I'm gonna start getting jaded just traveling with these guys because they're just doing it.
Right. They always say like, if you fly coach, never try to fly first class because it just ruins coach.
Exactly. So yeah, flew in on the helicopter. I was taking photos of them and some video. We get off of the helicopter. And my flash was, I just bought a flash. I didn't have a flash before. I've never really needed a flash. Got one and go to take photos. The flash was working great in the helicopter, get off the helicopter, and it's just not working.
As soon as they want the money shot, the stuff, it's like, nah.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna hang out over here.
And I was freaking out because I was thinking, well, I really hope that this flash starts working.
Right.
Got to figure it out.
Right.
I got it to work later. But going back to what we were saying on another podcast, our nightmares of being on set and stuff not working. Typically,
you can do a little 1-2 switcheroo.
You can get away with it.
Everyone can see that the flash didn't go.
Exactly.
You're like, no, it's great. We're like, no, it didn't go. We're like, no, it's
no,
great.
you don't understand like the way the shots composed.
Yeah.
He's like,
no. The Sonys are just so good at low light.
Like,
we just don't
he's
even
like,
need
bro,
a flash.
it's dark as shit. Like, you got it.
Yeah. So that made me freak out a little bit, but it's all good, you know?
And it just started working.
I think what it was is I believe it wasn't locked like on the back. And I think if it wasn't locked, it doesn't work. And the only reason I figured that out was because my camera got knocked. It was like on a table, it got knocked and the flash came off. And I was like, it must have not been locked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Lock your shit, kids.
Exactly, yeah.
Good to know.
So also like practice using your gear before, big set or big show, whatever.
I assumed he did.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Well, the guy at Sammy's was just like, hey, keep it on this setting. I was like, great. It works great in the store. I don't need to change anything.
Right.
So then they meet the visual guy, comes to their trailer. They start working with the visual guy of like, he has all of their visuals and everything. And then they're just making sure everything's synced up and ready to go. Drinking a little bit, partying and stuff. But it's very much what I found super interesting is they take it extremely seriously and it's very much a job to them.
Right.
I feel like it's really easy to look at a DJ and be like, he's just up there playing music, having the time of his life.
Right.
One, I think they get used to it and it's just like another show. It's very exciting, but at some point the newness of it kind of fades away after doing hundreds and hundreds of shows. But also it's like they do take it really seriously and they want to put on the best show that they can.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what is the process like specifically for shooting something like you want to roan it? Are you doing like going front to back?
Yeah.
Like
So
what are the angles and like how are you doing that?
So what was really nice, before I get into gear, what was really nice is they had their whole set list typed out and they went over with me before we shot of, hey, at this moment, we want you to be doing video. We want this moment on photo. We want this video or this moment iPhone video. So I knew exactly when to shoot what, but it was really stressful trying to balance between 3 separate types of
Right.
content.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
If you're just doing video or you're just doing photo, it's a lot, I guess, less stressful.
I feel like you probably could have found your rhythm faster too.
Exactly.
You know, you would have been like, okay, this shot really sick. Need to get it this angle.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like you're just probably like, bam. Okay. He's gonna jump off in 3 seconds. Like,
Yeah,
phone
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
let me get my.
Yeah, so my gear that I was using was my Ronin. I had a Sony a7S III with a 16-35 that I was using to film mostly everything. I had a A7 III for photo. I had a 24-70. I found myself though switching this. I use the 16-35 the most just because when you're shooting a concert like that, you want that wide angle.
Make it feel grand. And
Exactly.
Stuff.
Had the flash going. I had a shotgun mic for the audio on my camera.
And did that work, or did it sound like, what did it sound like? Man, cause dude,
It
I remember
was-
when I did my like concert stuff, it was just like, damn thing was just so
Audio's so hard.
Yeah, it was.
It's not even like usable really.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't great. But
especially because you were literally right there.
Yeah,
on
it's
top of
so
them.
it's so
It's
loud.
just like distorted.
Yeah, so they had me start front of house, which is a new term that I learned. They go, yeah, so we're gonna have you start front of the house, and I'm like, yeah, so like, where is that?
I hate when people are always using jargon, and I'm just like, yeah, I just don't know what that means, dude.
Yeah, so front of
We need
house.
some laid terms. That's what
Right.
it's called, right?
What's some what?
Laid terms. I'm pretty sure that's what they
Laid
used to
terms?
tell us in anatomy. They'd say like that's like normal people talk.
I bet they use laid terms in anatomy.
Wait, hold up. I'm gonna laid terms meaning. I'm looking it up just to double check.
Hey, Mike, can you double check that, producer Mike?
And it
Mike, can you look that up?
just didn't pop up. It just says sex slander. That's great. We're just
That's,
gonna.
so that's what I thought. So I was right.
No, I'm pretty
That's
sure
right.
lay term. I'm pretty sure it's a term in anatomy. Let's continue.
Anyways,
So we finally got to visit. You're just, laid terms. They've been dating for like 6 years. It's okay. They can have sex. Only after you're 5.
so they had me start front of house.
Yep.
That's one of those late
Where
terms. you know?
is that though? Can you actually tell me?
So it's where the sound people are. It's
Oh,
basically
yep,
in the
yep.
middle. It's back a little bit from the stage,
Yep.
but you're looking at the stage.
you can probably
So
see
it's
like
in the
everything
crowd.
real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started there. They wanted me to film their intro,
That's cool. It makes sense.
which was cool. And then I had to rush behind the stage. Mind you, EDC's production is unlike anything I've ever seen. These stages are like 30 feet tall and just massive.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
bet.
it was I was hustling pretty hard running to get behind the stage. I get behind the stage, I put my camera on the Ronin. I walk up, I walk behind them, and I have that moment of
Right.
holy shit.
Right.
I can't believe I'm here right
There's
now.
a sea of
There's
people
so many people.
going nuts. I just
Yeah. And also the song, I love their music, so I'm like, God, this song's a banger.
Right.
I'm like, man, this is awesome.
Dude, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
And I had a second of that, and then I was like, time to work.
Yeah.
Lock in.
Had to.
Right.
And so yeah, then I kind of I really leaned on my just ability to film. Like
Right.
you don't really think. You kind of are just capturing the moment as best you can. And yeah.
It's always fun when like you can prepare as much
Yes.
as you can, but then the second that you just let instinct take over, I feel like that's when the best stuff is. I remember there's this quote that was like there's like the least happy director is the one that carries his storyboards with him like on set. It's like you got to find the stuff that like just you make it, you prepare it, you look at it,
And then you just go.
But then and then you go, and then you just because sometimes you'll see someone like do something and you're like, oh, that's better than what I have here. Like let's run with that. Like you let your instincts run on just about anything, and I feel like that's when the good magic happens. You know?
Go ahead.
No, and I think it's cool just how you got the job because I mean they saw like we talked about this last time. Did we talk about? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in episode 2 we talked about social and how to build up your social platforms and whatnot. And I just think it's crazy because I think now all 3 of us have gotten jobs off of social, which is insane that someone like see because dude, don't you remember what it was like to never get hit up for work? I remember.
Yeah.
I remember complaining about a ton of people. I'm like, I never get hit up for work. I don't understand when I'm gonna get hit up for work. Like when is that whole thing gonna start to happen for me?
Right.
And I feel like it was when I was like, oh shit, I gotta post the stuff that I want to make.
Right.
I'm gonna make stuff that I want to make.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm going to get paid for the work that I want to make.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Dude, and actually, I forgot to tell you guys this story. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but kind of going off that really quick. My first interview at that agency that like really started everything for me, I remember seeing the guy is kind of creepy, but like he interviewed me or whatever, and it was like going pretty good. And I saw him like put his phone away, and it was my Instagram was up, like my personal Instagram, and then he like put it away, and he was like, "We really like that your grid's cohesive," is what he said. He's like, we make stuff for socials, like we like make Nike's Instagram feed. So we really like that, and I was like, "That's really
cool.
interesting."
That's
and
awesome.
as like we're like going up the steps to like work on stuff,
And that's something you feel
And,
like you're the only one who cares about it because you're like, I want my
Yeah.
Instagram to look amazing.
right, dude? So yeah,
That's a good feeling. And I mean, dude, it's crazy just for those listening, and it just shows that you just never know who's watching. Moral of the
really
story,
don't.
You never know who's watching, and you just got to make it like there's a million
right.
people
And like
watching.
Kostas' like favorite DJ duo were watching his TikToks,
Which is just
crazy,
unbelievable.
And then they were like, "Let's hire this kid to do his dream."
People
you know?
used to say that was a kid app, bro.
like literally.
Yeah.
Literally like 7 months
I
ago.
still say that.
Loki is.
I mean, I'm 26. I'm gonna own that.
I also think going off of that, one, you never know who's going to see your stuff. You also can post super consistently. We deal with this of like, is this really worth it? Like,
Yeah,
like
all the time.
you go through so much
All
of
the
like not
time.
getting views or videos not performing as well as you'd like. And like, it's just a struggle constantly having to post and having to keep that up. And it'd be much easier just to like not.
Right.
But you really never know who's going to do it or who's going to see it. And another thing is, I wasn't posting concert videos. Like
Right.
I didn't have any, anything that had to
opportunity
do with
to do that.
what they needed. They
Right.
just liked my work in general.
And the vibe of the stuff you're putting out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you never know where an opportunity is going to come from, and things might work out. Most likely, they're probably going to work out differently than you had anticipated in your head.
Right.
I thought I was going to have to start shooting some concerts, working my way up. And then eventually, maybe in a few years when I'm a little older, then I could do an EDC type of thing. I never thought it would come about in this way, which is kind of beautiful.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy. It's like if like the NBA recruit or like GMs of like the Grizzlies saw John Morant like just running sprints on like a football field, and they're like, that guy, let's have him play basketball.
Exactly.
And put him in the NBA. That's like basically what happened to Kostas, which is crazy.
No, it is pretty nuts.
You know what I mean?
And
He wasn't
so-
even playing basketball in the video. He just running on the
Yeah,
track.
Yeah.
no, exactly.
That guy's probably got a sweet jumper.
Right.
He's so fast.
And I mean, after like after you shoot 10 of these, you're gonna have such a dialed in
Right.
process of
yeah.
of how to do. And I mean, like I think about it like with basketball, like I literally know exactly where they're gonna go every time.
And you just get better the more you do stuff.
Yeah, it's weird because now I feel like you're gonna have such a dialed in system, and like something that we want to talk about. Big part of today's pod, guys, is process and how
Right.
you gotta have one. And I think that is truly what separates like amateurs and pros is
Yep.
process. Because if you don't have a process, you have nothing to follow off of, and if you do have a process, you have something that is fucking proven and it works.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's something that we're trying to all come up with like right now. It's a huge conversation in our household is how we can develop systems and processes for when shoots happen, for when a client hits you up about X or whatever.
Trying to change songs all the time.
Yeah, when a client wants to change a
let's not
song
do that
17
anymore.
times, if you're an agency and you're listening to this, don't do that, huh? What do you
You're an
say?
agency that we maybe just worked with. Like, don't change a song so many times.
But
We like you a lot.
We want to keep working with you.
And I mean, like, it's so good for, I think, all of you to practice, whether you've been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, or you're just starting, to reevaluate whatever it is that you do right now and
Right.
say, like, yo, am I maximizing my time while I'm doing this? And also, do I have a system down so we don't mess these things up?
Right.
And I think it's the biggest thing for us is like trying all these things and then messing up and then being like, okay, that messed up. Like for example, I'll give you guys one that happened a really long time ago, and you can probably mimic this and you'll never make this mistake ever again. Did a video for an agency and we do like, I don't know, 47 rounds like they normally do. I think we're on like V8 or something. And then they're like, oh, or V14, whatever. Could we go back to V3?
Right.
You think that I had V3 saved? No chance. I was just doing it on V14 in the same sequence.
You have to keep making
Yeah,
new
you got to
sequences.
make new sequences.
Every round.
Just one example of a thing that I'm like, oh, okay, I'll never F that up ever again. So then I had to go re-edit V3.
Right.
That was fun.
Right.
So
It's
just
just terrible to like recreate an edit that you'd already made.
oh
It's the
god,
worst feeling in the
it's
whole
awful.
world.
So just a small little thing for all of you listening to really be thinking about your process and write this shit out. Like literally have a fucking page that you have that's like, this is how we edit a video. This is how when the client comes to you, this is how you're gonna get V1, V2, V3. Then so and also I think with feedback, like something that we're figuring out, like specifically right now, and I've said this for years, like dealing with people and with clients fuck feedback up all the time.
Right.
Everyone does. And
Right.
I think it's super easy because it's subjective. The content is subjective. Like you give someone something and they think it's going to look a different way. Like this isn't their fault and it's not the
Right.
production company's fault. But what'll make this all easier is having a system for the feedback and a system to help whoever you're giving the video to give them, say, hey, this is an example of great feedback.
Right.
This is an example of very bad feedback.
Right.
So then you have like something to go off of and then you can all eat together and win. Then
Right.
everyone wins.
Because then it's quicker for everyone.
Exactly.
It's less expensive.
And I'm assuming a lot of the people that everyone's going to work with that we're talking to or like that's listening, everyone that you're going to work with also has some sort of way they do things.
Right.
That's the beauty of business. Like everyone has like
Right.
a
Right.
specific way, and then you can work on it together, come up with
Right.
new stuff.
Because if I get the feedback, try something. Hey, not working. Try something. I'm just gonna like, where's that balcony door? I
swan dive off
I
the
just
balcony.
like you gotta know what you want.
Or like just don't like that. Say
Right.
say a shot to switch it with.
right.
Switch the shot.
I'm not a mind reader.
No, exactly. I'm not. I make videos.
I'm great at making videos, but I'm really bad at reading minds.
And if you were good at reading minds, we'd be in Vegas, you know?
Right. Oh yeah.
We've been playing blackjack all the
I
time.
used to be playing the stocks, baby.
I also think going off of that, the process comes over time.
Yes.
You need the experience of working on
do.
different projects to understand what works best for you and what your process looks like. You have to go through that first shoot to get to your 10th, to get to your 100th shoot, right? And by then you dial in. So yeah, process is really important, but if you're listening to this and you don't know what your process is, understand that comes with practice and that comes with time, and it's fine if you don't have it all the way dialed in. We've been doing this for years and we're still figuring out our process.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to touch on something, speaking of having to do your first time to get to your 100th time, is when I first got the gig for this EDC thing and to shoot with the DJs, is I was dealing with some imposter syndrome because I had never done that shoot. And I think that's something that is very common when doing something that you've never done before, or leveling up, or, doing a gig that's at a bigger level that you're used to.
Right.
And so I was really struggling with like, well, why'd they pick me? Like out of everyone, I've never shot concerts before. Like, why would they pick me? And then you kind of got to just boss up and try to find that confidence and like kind of fake it till you make it. Be like, no, I deserve to be here.
Right.
I'm going to crush it. I'm going to do as good of a job as I can. I might fuck some shit up, but I'm going to learn as I go and I'm going to do the best I can.
Yeah, dude. I mean, kind of going off that, we had like our first like proper commercial campaign type thing.
a few weekends back.
A few weekends back.
Thoughts? Well, as a unit though, because we've all worked on like separate campaigns
Right.
and whatnot. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for at least in my experience, it was the first time where they were like, we need you to submit like a treatment to like win this work, right? I'd never made a treatment before, but it was like, if your creative is good, we'll hire you over other like directors, production companies, and then we'll start this process, right? I didn't know what I was doing, but I really wanted it really bad. And we all did. And we were all like, you were like giving me, I mean, like we just were running this thing together. We were figuring it out, like how the creative should feel. Submit it. They liked it. I don't know why they liked it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in this treatment. Like I had no idea.
It was literally your first time making a treatment ever.
Luckily, like Brayden had done, so he was like kind of telling me how to do it. I was like, pretty close to the client in like the works. Like I was like doing like that kind of stuff. But we got it, and then it was like meetings with the cast, like just trying to give them notes. Brayden like talked me off the ledge like 6 times.
You know what made it so easy though? Like no BS. Having like your treatment is your treatment is your like guide. It's like your playbook.
Yeah.
Like you show up, and I think that as we do this more, the past year we've really stepped into like very set up shoots, but before that, I usually just show up with my camera and I make magic. And that's not a great way. That's not a good way to do things. That's what amateurs do.
It's fun.
It's so sick. No, it is sick. It's sick. It's sick to do that. And it's there's like obviously if you're gonna fucking, I'm trying to think of, there's so many instances that's still gonna work. Like I'm not saying that don't do that, because that's part of
You're never gonna get paid a ton of money to do that.
There we go. Okay, I like that.
Because you get paid for like the creative.
Yeah.
And then to execute it.
Bang.
But you need the creative first.
100%. That's where you see the difference between what a videographer is and what a director and a team of people is. Because I think on that shoot you saw it was like, oh shit, everyone has a job.
Yep.
Everyone has a singular job, and their only job that day is to take care of that said thing, and like don't bug the person about any, like that's their thing that day.
Right. I mean, yeah, because we're not shooting for like Joe's Rock Auto Shop anymore. Like this was like 1800 tequila, which is like we all drink it. We love 1800 tequila.
Drank some last night.
Right.
Happy Halloween. Yeah, a little too much. A little hungover, and it's all good. Hey, a little hungover.
Very nice.
We hired, like, you got an audio guy. We had this big list of gear rental. I mean, we got to use our baby.
We used our we used our child.
Which our first like big shoot with the child.
And it just Second, and it just ate. It just dominated.
Oh, dude, that thing looks so good.
It does.
It's unbelievable. It looks so good. It is noticeably like it's
gonna be hard to match color.
Yeah, for those listening, the red, it really does dominate.
This is not a paid advertisement again.
No, the red eats, but I think it was just fun. And
I mean, there was like 50 people on that set, guys.
Like, and it was our first time all three working together. And we had been talking since we moved in of, yo, we will all
when that was gonna happen.
When is that gonna happen? When are we gonna all work on something together? And we had a blast.
And it's funny because we kept talking, like every day we would bring that up. Like one day us three are gonna like make something big. We're gonna do this. And like I still feel like we have ways to go and bigger things to do, but we were like, this is what we wanted to do. Like this is what I want to do my whole life.
And I think, dude, we've talked about it though so many times, and I really do think that you have to either talk about those things that you want to do or write them down.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they're gonna be stuck in your noggin. They're never gonna happen.
Yeah, you gotta say them so the fucking universe can hear you.
I think so too. And just like, dude, we've talked about it so many times what we want to do, and now the wheels are turning. Like for example, the pod. We're like, we want to do this pod.
Right.
Yeah. Then you execute, because I think when you put it out there, it's like then it becomes a real thing. That's like, okay, I can do that.
Right.
And if you can see it and you can think about it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Absolutely.
Literally anything.
Literally anything.
Anything in the world. It's kind of but it's true. It's super true.
I also want to touch on going off of that. If you're a kid listening to this and you're maybe just getting started, or you're a year, 2 years into it, you're still at the beginning, just getting started, and you're listening to us being like, wow, we're getting all these amazing opportunities. Understand that this didn't just happen overnight.
Absolutely not.
We're close to 10 years into this of making videos.
I'm basically 40,
Yeah, exactly. Understand that this has taken a lot of time for us to get to this point.
Right.
And I feel like we're just starting. Like it's weird. We've put in
feel like we're just
all this time and effort.
I agree. It's like a rebirth. Recently there was like a switch where it was like, oh, this is like almost a new career. It's like the same, but it's like completely different for some reason.
It's almost like we're training for a marathon, and like we've been training and stretching and getting everything ready, and now we just started the race.
I agree.
I like that. Yeah, I think so too. And it's crazy though, because you're so right. It's all the late hours though that it just all combines. I'm telling you guys that are listening, this is all it compounds.
Compounding interest, baby.
Compound interest. You do something every single night, and you make videos. You do design, or you do construction, like whatever. If you do something every day, at a certain point, it's gonna start to compound, and you're gonna start to get better at it, and then it's gonna really start to see leaps and bounds going forward.
Too many late nights lately, but it's all good.
It's all good because you know what?
We're gonna get through it.
We're gonna get through it, and then we're gonna sleep, and everything's gonna be amazing.
I want to read this quote. Give me a
the quote. This is actually a great quote. I think that a lot of you will enjoy.
This is from the book Atomic Habits. My friend sent me this, and I really liked it. The chapter's called "What Progress Is Really Like." I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I'll read a little bit.
Okay.
Breakthrough moments are often the result of many previous actions, which build up the potential required to unleash a major change. This pattern shows up everywhere. Cancer spends 80% of its life undetectable, then takes over the body in months. Bamboo can barely be seen for the first 5 years as it builds extensive root systems underground before exploding 90 feet into the air within 6 weeks. And then it keeps going. But it's so true. Like, you got to put in those hours and hours of work, and sometimes you might not feel like it's going anywhere quite yet, but there will come a time, and I feel like we're at that moment where all of your hard work, it ends up paying off, and you start to get this momentum, and then you really got to double down on yourself and
Yeah.
make sure that you make the most out of your opportunity.
Yeah, the momentum thing's crazy because I feel like specifically as like a creative, it goes your ups and downs are big highs and very big lows. Very low lows, and it's difficult to like sometimes climb out of that rut, like when you're at the bottom and you're not getting hit up for work. And like when
sometimes
I was
the phone
freelance-
doesn't ring.
Yeah, dude, sometimes the phone doesn't ring and you gotta like, fuck, okay, I'm gonna send some cold emails, I guess.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna hit up some old contacts, like whatever it's gonna take.
Or like you're just working on like the phone rang, but it's like the worst project ever, and you gotta do it. That's when it's the worst. It's when you're just like editing some corporate ass boring video.
But hey, you gotta pay the bills.
You gotta pay the bills, and sometimes you make those, and then someone sees and like, oh, this kid can edit. Like, I wonder if he can make a video for me, and that video's a little better, and then that video's a little better, and now you're finding like cooler projects for more money and better work.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you all for tuning in to the third episode of the 505 podcast. If you're still here, make sure to take a screenshot, drop a review, and we need reviews, guys. We need you to leave a damn review on the pod. 5 stars, obviously. 5 stars, obviously.
No jaded reviews. From a
Yeah,
pity person.
Jesus. Yeah, no jaded reviews out there. And leave a damn good review, and we'll see you guys all next week. Peace out.
Peace.